I told myself I wasn't going to do it. Well, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I never really wanted to do this. EWR has kind of turned muzzleloader into a second rifle season, and they've already let that genie out of the bottle, so I suspect that things are never going to go back to the way they were. So maybe I didn't want to do that, but yeah, there went my windage. I prefer peep sights, but yeah, it is what it is. So first thing I'm going to do is put a scope base on here. It's a Weaver. I wanted to get a Picatinny, but couldn't find one. So I'm going with a Weaver. Should work regardless. So first thing I'm going to do is take the old side off, mount the Weaver. This sight never really worked all that great for me anyway, because I had to max the elevation out on this thing every time. Alright, if you get the Duracite, which is sold on muzzleloaders.com and Amazon, the holes on the rail, on this Weaver rail, are only going to line up one way. There's a front and there's a back, or rear and front. If you flip this thing around and put it that way, the holes won't line up, so you got to put it that way. There's no torque setting for this that was specified, just till it snugs, or till the screw stops. Which they are. Alright. The scope we're going to mount today is going to be the Vortex Diamondback 3x9x40. I've turned into a Vortex fan, and we're going to be using medium 1-inch rings. I hope I got the right size. Now, I am not an armorer or a gunsmith. This is just kind of a DIY thing. What I am reasonably sure of is you need to make sure your firearm or muzzleloader, as it were, is level. And I do find that a torpedo level, there are specialized levels for this, but I do find that a torpedo level works in a pinch. So I'm going to level off this gun that way still. Once I get this thing completely level, then you have to level the scope and the scope rings, and set the eye relief. Now, when you go to put the scope rings on, you want to try to get the upper and lower mount as even as you can, so it applies even pressure onto the tube housing of your scope. And I think I did a fairly good job of that one on this one. This front one. Is it front? Yeah. Notice the gap. However, this back one, I'm going to have to back this one out, and large gap there, small gap there, so I need to redo that. Alright, again, you want to make sure the gun, well, right now it doesn't really matter that much, but it will later. But you want to make sure your vise is set up to where it's level that way and that way. And it's not quite level. I'll I'll have to reset it anyway. But it's something that you'll have to play with. Alright, now I'm gonna go there. Set this scope up on here and figure out my eye relief. Tighten the screws down and put them to the proper torque. Now these ones, I know that there's a torque setting on those. I'm gonna try to set the eye relief. So just kind of go up to the gun as if you're shooting. Close your eyes. Get a good cheek weld. Open them. You should see the full view of your scope. You know, watch me get a scope kiss on this thing. Alright, well, that's as far back as it goes for my eyes. That makes it easy. I say, change the... I don't think I can. Alright. Bam. Alright. Alright, when I said you want to level it that way, I don't think it's necessary. That's just me being anal retentive. But the important thing is you level the rifle that way. Because if it's not level, if the cant is not level, then your crosshairs aren't going to be perfectly vertical. So we're going to go ahead and put the scope on top of that. Now that's perfectly vertical. We're going to put the scope on top of that, and then put the level on top of this and rotate this so it's perfectly vertical as well. Got the scope rings mounted on the base. Take the screw cap off. I'm just putting this directly onto the elevation. Yeah, I think that's the elevation turret. And I mean, there's special levels for this. But I'm going to rotate this thing until it's level. I don't think it's going to be level this way. It's the crosshairs I'm worried about. Alright. So now we'll go ahead and lock this thing down. Alright, I've made this as level as I can. It would be easier if you actually had the proper level set to do this. So I've had to take the scope off a couple times and make sure the smoke pole here is still level. And then remount this thing a couple times and make sure it's still level in the rings. I've had to adjust it once. So that's about as level as I'm going to get it. So all that's left to do now is torque it down. Well, double check my eye relief and then torque it down. And then as far as mounting goes, we'll be done, and then I'll just have to sight it in, which will be the expensive part. Seeing so I have looked everywhere for Barnes 50 caliber sabos. Can't find them anywhere. That's what I have the most of, and that's what I'm gonna sight it in for. But can't find them anywhere. I never wanted to do this because I think it goes against the spirit of muzzleloader. It's supposed to be a primitive weapon. This is not a primitive weapon. This is a modern inline muzzle loader. Last time I went deer hunting was in 2018, and I've been saving my points. Gonna be hunting somewhat of a primo unit this year. I'll see if I can include an aerial link of it in the end of this video. But yeah, last time I did a muzzleloader deer was in 2018, and I was using the most inaccurate range estimation device known to man, my eyeball, and I was shooting open sights, and I missed. So I don't agree with putting the scope on a muzzleloader, but it is what it is. Maximize my chances to whatever the state will allow, I guess. Alright, have a good one.